Protein. Roles of proteins. Protein forms all the skeletal structure in the body, so those proteins are skeletal proteins. And also, protein forms the enzyme, which is a biological catalyst, which catalyzes all the biological reactions in the body. Protein also have transporter proteins on the membrane, and antibody is also proteins. So also there are many more functions and roles of proteins in the body. If you look at the structure of a protein, the monomer of a protein is amino acid. Amino acid can make a linear polymer, so-called peptide, and after fully functional folding, and it forms a protein. Amino acid has two components. One side is an amino group, and the other side is a carboxylate group. That's why altogether we call this molecule as an amino acid. Also, in the center at the carbon atom, there are many side chains, and there are totally 20 side chains are known so far. Many of them has an oxygen or nitrogen component. Very uniquely, cysteine has a sulfur. Also, methionine has a sulfur. That's why amino acid composition is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, and sulfur. Two amino acids can couple together to make new bond. So in this case, acids OH and amino groups, the hydrogen, is combined together and removed as water. So water was removed. That's why this reaction is called as a dehydration reaction, or this reaction is also called as a condensation reactions. In this case, newly formed bond is the peptide bond, and functionally speaking, this is also called as the amide bond. It has a direction. We can define amino side as N terminals and carboxyl acid side as C terminals. As the peptides gets longer and longer, still we can define the N terminals and C terminals. So there is a directions. After peptide is synthesized, the linear polymer make three-dimensional structures, so-called folding, and eventually forms functional proteins. We can define several structure of proteins. The linear polymer of a peptide, it has amino acid sequences. Those digital sequences we call primary structure. And the local secondary structure is the three-dimensional structure of peptide area, so-called alpha helix or beta sheet structure. So this kind of a local three-dimensional structure is called as a secondary structure. And these secondary structure are combined together to form the whole the protein structure. This total protein structure we call tertiary structure. Sometimes not single protein, multiple proteins get together and forms even more complicated structure. So this kind of supramolecular structure we call quaternary structure of proteins.